It's Notorious Saturday. It's Notorious Saturday. It's Notorious Saturday. Hey! I was just doing a little jingle there. Boys and girls, look who we got. It's been a day or 3 or 4, maybe 3 or 4 days since we've done a stir in the pot. I'm out of my comfort zone. I'm usually all over these things. But look who we've got today on a fine Saturday afternoon. The Notorious, stirring the pot with the Notorious Stir in the Pot. I love that. This is Stir in the Pot with Don Kincaid and my very special guest, the Notorious AJP, AJ Phoenix. Thank you so much for spending the time with us, my friend.
You're welcome. No, thank you for having me, man. I've been looking forward to this all week, and I'm very excited to tell another tale or two.
Well, I say that my show has digressed, if you will, because I don't put up an intro on my interviews anymore. I had a hiccup, if you will, with my video editor. So I'm like, you know what? I'll just grab it from, Skype, put it up on YouTube. In all honesty, it saves me so much time. It's off the charts on how much time it actually saves me. So my show has actually digressed a smidge, but it's also progressed a smidge. Now I got some cool photo editors, and we've been putting out some cool graphics. And I just wanted to start right there. And I know this is all about AJP and not my damn graphics. But what I wanted to start with is I've been having so much fun because I've ran into a couple new editors, and I might pay a couple bucks to keep them all to myself. And I've been messing with the Stir in the Pot graphics, but I've been starting to do like cool little wrestling wallpapers, if you will. Who the hell's doing wallpapers of our favorite wrestlers around here? And I thought I came up with a pretty cool one with AJP. So enough of me yakking. AJP, again, welcome. And I just wanted to put that out there because I think you guys and girls really like when the fans put out graphics and stuff like that.
No, it does. It's for somebody like me, like I'm just a 19-year-old kid, and yeah, I do a lot. Like I wake up, go to one job, do schoolwork, go to another job. Like it gets easy to forget that, every weekend, just a year ago, I used to be somebody important. And to, go on my Facebook and see that somebody took the time out of their day, like, especially somebody as cool as you, like, there's some weird fans, but you know what I mean? Like, then there's people you can get on a Skype call with, and that is you, and you put out some really good, really, really sick art. I wanted to recommend the app PixArt to you because that's what I use, and it's really hands-on, and a lot of stuff is for free. Like, you can do a lot of the cutting out and pasting onto other layers. Like, I think you should check it out. But to get back to mine specifically, I think it's the best one you've ever done. I mean, that's just a given.
Well, I'm not very artsy. I can't draw for shit. Like literally, don't give me
I'm with you on that. I mean, I am.
I just can't draw for crap. So messing around with some of these apps have been absolute blast, man. But I use more than one to kind of get it all together. And so when I do each individual one, I don't ever want to make them look similar. That's the first thing, firsthand right there. But when I was making yours, I kept looking at those glasses that you were wearing, and I think that's such a cool pic. And I was able to kind of scoop that from the back. I got rid of the background, and I just kept the image of those glasses. I'm like, what the hell do I do with? You know what? I got to do something bluish or whatever. But I always try to do something different with each one because you don't want them to look similar. But I'm glad you dig it because I thought it came out pretty neat.
I agree.
So we are back. It's been 10 months since April. Let me see.
The 24th. I just looked at the call log.
Look at you. Yeah, late April was our last soiree with AJP. We had a lot of fun back then. We talked a lot about AJP, but there's even more to talk about because you've been spreading your wings as of late. And I know we've talked about the Chop Shop previously, but in between us talking and now, we don't see the Chop Shop anymore. And I know things will be moving forward. It always does. That's wrestling. Things will be moving forward. But in the interim, out of nowhere, and I mean, like way out of left field, Holyoke, Massachusetts, Kevin Landry's combine announces AJP versus Jay Baker. I'm at home. As a fan, I lost my shit because I'm like, are you effing kidding me? I know me some AJP. I haven't seen him in a while, and I know of Mr. Jay Baker. I've seen him aplenty around my area and stuff. So you are breaching your wing. You're going out and you're doing your thing. AJP, I applaud you, my friend. I applaud you.
Thank you. Thank you. No, I definitely was out of left field. I would say that it probably came as a result of the video I posted for my birthday, that little compilation. Honest Abe hit me up on Facebook and he's like, hey, you good for this date? You want to wrestle? And I said, absolutely. You know, I'm not going to say no to just about anywhere right now. Especially if they're coming out of their way for me. It's usually the other way around. And the match with Jay Baker was a lot of fun, and it was really cool to get introduced to a new family, I guess. I mean, without the Chop Shop, it's not like I've seen all my friends. Like, the Young Guns don't hang out outside of wrestling, and that's just the truth. It's not like I'm going to go hang out with Mike Montero. I hate his guts. It's not like I'm going to go hang out with Dick Lane. He lives in Norwood. So, I mean, on top of all these travel regulations and, you know, all these gatherings not being allowed, now that it's finally getting to be safer to do so, I'm glad to be involved with something different and meet all these new people that I've never wrestled before. Like, I've been told in the past that my Chop Shop matches at times were kind of the same. Like, I kind of put the John Cena formula together for that place because I just had the formula down. It was the same thing every month, the same people, a little bit of my family, a little bit of people that I train with in their families, and you get a rhythm. You tend to rest on your laurels, and I'm glad that now I have all the reason in the world to do the exact opposite and, as you said, spread my wings and hopefully make some kind of difference, because like it's been too long since I've done anything. I wake up every day and I get all sad thinking about wrestling. I'm driving to work and it's just like, man, I was this close to doing anything. Like, I wrestled at Fenway, I wrestled Brian Malonis, I do all these cool things on IWTV and Fight TV, and then it just stops. So it's good to get back to work, and it's good to be able to help along some people like Jay Baker. I know he said he was out for a year or so on injury, and then coronavirus put us all out of wrestling for a little while, so that makes it worse. But I thought what we did was pretty good. I think he's definitely going to be one to watch, as I would hope other people would consider myself.
Absolutely. You've said so much in right there, and I want to take a couple parts of what you just spoke of.
Yeah, sorry, I go off on these long tangents. Feel free to stop me.
No, God, no. This is why we love talking to the talent. We want to hear what you guys and girls have to say. I would never do that. I would rather listen. Let me tell you one thing. I know the fans would rather listen to you and see that beautiful face than listen to me. Look at this face.
Oh, okay? Come on, Don. Don't sell yourself short, bro. You're a handsome fellow too, man.
Oh, I appreciate that. I thank you kindly for that.
Stick together. Keep your crown on, King.
I want to pull out a couple phrases that you spoke of there, a couple topics. Getting out of the Chop Shop, and because you are so used to, like you just said, you got in a rhythm, if you will. You do this thing. There's a certain fan base. There's a certain certain talents that are usually on the cards that are kind of mixed around a little bit. And I get what you're saying there. So getting out away from your home base, and it's with any wrestler in any promotion. It has nothing to do with you specifically or your home promotion. It's like that with anybody. Getting away from that home promotion. It's just almost, it's so different because you're not with the same people in the locker room. You're not getting in the ring with those same familiar faces. You're getting out of your comfort zone a little bit. It's a different element. You may want to add something different to your match or do something you haven't done in a while or experiment with your opponent. So all of these factors all come into play once you step out of your home base. And I applaud you for doing that because it, and I know you've been in other promotions. I mean, it's not like the first time you've left the nest, if you will, but I applaud you for just getting out of your comfort zone, especially, you know, we are in a weird time right now with the whole virus and things are starting to lift up. We're right around the corner from things like starting to really lift up here.
Yeah.
But I applaud you because now you're getting your brand, your name in front of different fans that never even heard of you before, at a different company. And I know it was limited crowd, but that doesn't matter. Even if it's just 2 new people, that's all that matters.
Exactly.
It really
I feel like I was introduced to an entirely new audience, and I had 30 different friend requests that night from people that were at that show. And
awesome.
just as you said, getting out of my comfort zone, that's exactly what I needed. Right before everything went to shit, I guess you could say. I was definitely in my head a lot about, like, you know, why haven't I made it? Like, there's all these people that I've been wrestling longer than that are now on TV because of who they train with. And I think who you train with is definitely a big, important piece of who you are. I mean, if I didn't train with Brickhouse Baker, I wouldn't be anywhere. And I would hope that I can get involved in some of the Kevin Landry side of training, considering there is nothing with Brickhouse. I haven't done any research. I don't know if they run classes or what the deal is there, but I want to get involved in that. It's with the Chop Shop, we had it every week. Everybody took it for granted, and now it's gone. And the cool thing about it is there are still some of those familiar faces in this locker room. Like, I show up and there's the Epidemic, 2 people that I've literally known almost as long as I've been alive. Isana was there. I brought Teach with me, and of course he goes way back with Kevin Landry, so they get to reconnect. You know, I brought my dad, Bobby Rossi, and it was cool because it really brought these 2 different worlds together. And not that it didn't already, like, I know that there was already people going back and forth before then. It's not like we were all complete strangers to each other, but now I think it's a little more official. Now that, you know, my dad and Brickhouse were there, now they're paying attention, so I'm sure their wheels are spinning on things they want to do, if that's even possible. And again, the new matchups, like this one I'm having with the Great Nuka, I'm so excited for. I looked at it and I was like, oh, so they trust me now. they want the notorious AJP. They don't want just AJP. They want the notorious AJP.
I'm so glad you brought that up, and I'm gonna spin back to your match with Jay Baker in a bit, but we're working towards Shut Up and Wrestle. I'm so excited. Shut Up and Wrestle 8 coming up in just 1 week's time. Exactly 1 week's time. March 20th at Kevin Landry's Combine. And dude, whenever I saw that, and now I'm not going to take anything away from what they're doing over there because I know they're busy over there, but they wanted to let the people know. So they don't really have any graphics going on. It was just kind of a couple pictures slapped together. It didn't matter. We were all still happy and excited to see the matchups that they were announcing. Yourself against Nuka, and not only that, Big Juicy against the returning. Oh my goodness, we love the makeup queen Rosalie. We cannot wait because she's in Florida with JC, the spectacular JC Rodriguez. They're supposed to be coming home March 20th. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, you're in for a surprise on that night. I'm telling you, AJP. But back to you and Nuka. I was also very excited for yourself as well. Not only for that matchup of, like you said, you see a little trust. They see a little trust in you now. But you're a returning talent that's going up against one of their mainstays, Great Nuka. And he's been traveling to other promotions and getting his name out there as well, going to Maine and other states. So I thought that was really cool of the combine to get that matchup together, and I'm super stoked for both of you because I think it's going to be a fine matchup. I think it's really going to be cool. Not only that, not to keep yammering, but you just mentioned they want the notorious AJP. Are we going to see it just jumped up a smidge from one AJP?
Well, there's no way I'm gonna tell you that I'm not gonna. I don't give the same effort every time. But
No.
now that I know what I'm dealing with, now that I know the level that I have to bring it to get the audience to react to me, and now that I know where the cameras are, all that simple stuff, like now my wheels are turning. Now I'm thinking, all right, I can do this, this, and this, and it'll be really cool specifically for the combine, or I can build my character in this way, or just all these different ideas. But I guess, yeah, it's going to be dialed up, and it's going to be a jump up from just vanilla AJP. Not that I ever would call myself that. Like I said before, like I would still have myself introduced as the notorious AJP, but there's just a certain attitude that I have to wake up and walk in with that day. You know what I mean? Like I have to be on the right side of the bed. I have to get my coffee made perfectly from Dunkin' Donuts. And then I have to hit all the right songs on the way there. Every single one. It's got to be, I'm not even going to get into it. There's so many different songs I like.
No. Please, that's why we sit and talk for talent. We want to know. Let's just dive right into that, and then we're going to spin back. What are you listening to? What are you hoping to listen to? Catch on
man.
video.
So
like
different days call for different playlists. I have my rap playlist, and I mean like my modern rap music playlist. That you got a couple throwbacks on there, but it's mostly mumble rap, which I'll admit isn't that great, but I enjoy it at certain times. Then I have my metal playlist, which is usually when I'm pissed off or working out. Then I have the rock and roll playlist, which is about 95% Motley Crue. And that's a regularly played track list right there. That's definitely my favorite. I like to and it doesn't have to be just like hair band rock and roll. It could be like something as random as the Romantics, or what's the other one? Godzilla by Blue Oyster Cult. Like that's just such a funny song to me, but I can't stop listening to it because it's a good song. It's a funny song, but it's a good song. Oh, I'm skipping over my dubstep playlist that I kind of keep hidden from everybody. I think I called that the extraterrestrial hotline or something like that. And then I follow one of those 90s rap playlists, because if you don't listen to 90s rap, you're not listening to good music ever in your life. It's just as simple as that. You need to have Biggie Smalls, you need to have Tupac, you need to have Bone Thugs, you need to have Jay-Z, you need to have old school Eminem, Dr. Dre. Like, come on. Oh wait, I'm probably gonna get canceled for name dropping Eminem right now. Man, I'm sorry.
If you get me monetized, hey, if you get me monetized, I'll just take it off. We'll just take it off your appearance fee. That's okay.
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess that's a little steep. We'll work something out. You can get in touch with my dad.
Hey, yeah, I'll do that if I have to. If legal matters have to, yeah. Now I'm a rock guy, pure through and through. Never kind of wavered from the rock scene. Played in the band, doing the '80s stuff and all of that. So I'm very curious. You said like 95% Motley Crue. You don't have to name them because there's a lot of them. Maybe give me 2 or 3 of your fave Motley Crue go-to songs.
Home Sweet Home is number one, always will be. Goosebumps every time that comes on, for all the stuff that it meant to me for the Chop Chop and RWA. I would say number 2 has to be the original number 1, Pink Floyd. Oh, wait, I'm talking about songs, not bands. I just woke up from a nap, can't you tell? Number 2 is Too Young to Fall in Love. Now, my girlfriend hates that I mentioned that song because I'm clearly not too young to fall in love. But it's a banger. It's a banger. Number 3 probably has to be... Which way do I go with this? Time for Change. Because Motley Crue isn't a ballad band, but they put out some good ballads. Come on.
Wow. I did not see that third track coming. Back to track 2. I used to jam that in my band High Octane. That was in my top 5 of all the songs, and we had a song list and a half. That was in my top 5. Too Young to Fall. I used to hold that bad boy. Oh man, that was some good times. Such a great track. AJP.
Oh man, that's awesome. Do you have any clips of that? That like I have to see it if it exists.
Of that song specifically, no, but I do have a couple cool clips. We've done some autograph at Johnny B's doing some turn up the radio. I got some. Yeah, I got some stuff.
It's not a bad song. It's just not my favorite.
Yeah, no, because we did one-offs too. We did like those one hit wonders, if you will.
Yeah.
And I got stuff from like All Stars before it closed in Manchester of us doing a few things over there. But my all-time favorite clip is when it's actually the whole song. It's us doing the Hellion and Electric Eye at Toad's Place in New Haven, baby. It was
wow. Wow,
getting
man. Right. Good for you. I guess you're more of a legend than I am. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't say that. I'm legendary. Put my glasses back on.
I can't believe you just gave me props like that, but I'll take them no matter what.
No, I take them back. I put the glasses on.
Okay. Should have seen that.
It's all about me again.
Yeah. Good times. Yeah. Didn't mean to get carried away on the band thing. Good times. I'll tell you that. Really good times. Now, I'm going to spin back to your match with Jay Baker because we've got to bring it up. It's the elephant in the room, my friend. You didn't come up with the dub, if you will. So you're returning, and I know you have a different kind of opponent, not to take anything away from Mr. Jay Baker, because he's been...
And please don't. I would love to wrestle him again. He's definitely one of the better people that I've seen.
I mean, he's got the W over AJP. He used something along the lines like a Jeff Jarrett using the stroke, if you will, but I'm going to call it the Stoke. If you see what I did there with JP. Never.
Funny guy.
So he gives you the finisher, and to my chagrin, AJP comes up with the loss, but you can't win them all. So you're going to be returning. And I can't wait for that. But I would love to see you and Jay Baker have a return match. That would be pretty cool. Now, you did some cool stuff in that match, as AJP always does in his matches. So I cannot wait to see what you give us, the fans, against the great Nuka. Because, again, he's a different animal than Jay Baker. You got to think outside the box a little bit. Because he's crafty. Again, not to take anything away from Baker. Nuka, he's quicker than a hiccup, as Mr. Jim Ross would say, quicker than a hiccup. So keep your eyes open.
I will. Thank you. I'm probably gonna have to wear like a protective layer of plastic with. So well, you can't wear plastic over your head. I'm gonna have some kind of gas mask or something to prevent myself from getting misted, unless they took that away with COVID regulations.
Well, I knew where you were going with the plastic, and no, you don't want to suffocate yourself. That's first and foremost.
No, I really don't.
No, we don't want to suffocate at AJP. So take that gimmick out. Take the plastic gimmick out. I see where you're going with that, and I'm gonna go with something. He used the mist up in Maine very recently, so I don't think there's really any total full CDC regulations on this mist coming. Out of great Nuka.
I'm not buying it. I don't know. I might have to talk to somebody about that. I don't want to get misted.
Keep your eyes open, my friend. You gotta keep
them closed. What am I trying to get mist in my eyes?
Okay,
man. What are you trying to do to me, Don?
I'm sorry.
Are you in with Nuka?
No.
Is that what this is about? You want to hear about my life and get all these secrets about AJP so you know how to beat me? Because you won't. You can't. Jay Baker got lucky, but Nuka won't.
Oh, okay. All right. No secret.
Great AJP.
Okay, no secret teller here by any stretch. AJP, if I was a secret teller, there'd be a lot of stirring the pot on the scene right now. We don't do that. We don't like to tell secrets. We like to have friendships and keep them solid, 100, if you will, as the kids say.
Shut up.
100. Now, you mentioned maybe getting over to the combine and getting some training over there, and you're not sure if they do run classes. I'll give you a little insider information, if you will. They do run classes a couple times a week. So maybe reach out and see what their days are, and it might fit into your schedule, and maybe check out a night or two and see what's going on over there.
I'm gonna have to. I pretty much figured they did, but I didn't want to come out here saying, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna start training there," and there's no classes. You know what I mean? Like, I've been pretty out of the loop with wrestling, and I'm looking to change that this year. Like I've always been so focused on the Chop Shop universe and everything involved with that. So like anytime I branched out, that was the furthest extent of my indie wrestling knowledge. That needs to change if I ever want to go anywhere else. So
totally.
And it starts with something as simple as training at the combine.
Dude, totally agreed, AJP, because the more experiences you get in different facilities and different matches and different reps, as they call it, getting these reps in under your belt in your career, every single one of them gives you a different experience. And behind, and it's not only in the ring though, it's every time you're making that drive, it's every time you're in the locker room, it's every time you're having your match, and every time post event, and the whole experience. So yeah, I mean, definitely you gotta keep your eye on the pulse, my man, on the scene, because if you don't, you kind of lose touch, and you get in that little niche, if you will, So again, I applaud you. You gotta get yourself out there. We want to see more AJP because you got a good look. You can work very well in the ring. You've got a good gimmick. You know how to piss off the crowd. So you've got a good thing going on. So don't, and I don't know where your confidence level is because of everything that's going on with the vid. Dude, bring that sumbitch, turn that sumbitch on high, and get your name out there, because you are a talent that really needs to be out there right now. If anybody, that's a promoter that has connections, that's taking a look-see at this video right now, hanging out and listening to us chit-chat about AJP, get them on your shows. Check them out. I'm telling you, you won't regret you did, because like I just did a little list there. Looks good, pisses off the crowd, does good in-ring stuff, knows how to carry himself professionally and all of that good stuff. He's had great training. Get him on your shows. I'm not licking nobody's ass, but what I am saying is, if you're looking for talent, we've got one right here in AJP, man.
Damn, thank you. I don't even know what to say. That was the nicest thing I think anybody's really ever said about me, all in one sitting. Thank you.
Oh, absolutely.
I should probably be advertising myself as half as energetically as you did, and maybe I'll get booked.
Hey, it only takes, and getting reached out though, that's a big plus. Getting reached out to, hey man, you got this date open. I think that's absolutely flippin-tastic.
And that's always been what I wanted, but I guess that's what holds me back the most, is kind of just sitting around waiting for a call or a text or whatever. Like I'm not gonna get signed anywhere legit anytime soon if I don't actually pick up the phone and start calling places myself or texting places. And that's a big thing that pretty much any vet will harp on. Like you'll see Bob Evans talk about it on Facebook, probably 12 times a day, 7 days out of the week, and for good reason. Something Brickhouse harps on us about, Jose harps on people about. You need to get the reps in. You need to get the calls in. You need to get the word out there. You need to show up, do the work. It's as simple as that. And that's something, like I was just saying, I need to do more of. And I plan on doing. I won't let you down. You've said a lot of good things about me, and I'm not going to make you look much dumber.
Because I do plenty of that on my own. We all know that. Now, I'm going to grab 2 names out of the entire wrestling scene right now, because you're very familiar with both of them. and probably more one than the other. But they've both recently got signed. They got that call up to the NXT Performance Center. And I'm going to start with one being AG. He's now called August Gray. You've seen him way young in his career, probably even starting in his career, and working his way up. And the second guy I'm going to mention, who's a very even more recent signing, is Christian Casanova. I am so stoked for both of those guys right there. And I know, and you're only 19, my friend, and I know you could spin whatever you've got going around. And I know it's a lot to take on when you're trying to do real life and wrestling at the same time. But you could spin this around very easily, I think, because of your talent. And you could become one of those guys that we're seeing today getting that call up. I really do see that in your future. And again, I'm not licking your ass. I'm just giving you what I see from the ring, because one of my all-time favorite clips ever, everything that I've ever taken is at the chop shop, and you come running across the ring and you slide under your opponent where he's kind of hanging. And I'm sorry, Mr. Sean Leader, because it was you. And you come swinging underneath him and whip him real quick in the suplex. And you just stand right up all smooth shit like. And I'm like, that is money. I love that clip forever and ever. But my point again being is you could be what we're seeing out of AG and Christian Casanova. That's my point.
Well, real quick before we get to those two, that's funny that you mentioned that specific sliding German suplex, which I call the escape sequence. But it's funny that you mentioned that one because it's the first time I ever did it.
Get out of here.
That was the first time I ever did it. And my dad showed me the move. He's like, you know what? You should do this. And I said, all right, I'm going to try it. And here we go. And then he yelled at me after the match, as we all know. Tried to make him proud. But it's also funny that you mentioned AG and Casanova because it's basically like you read my mind. They're two of my bigger inspirations. I'm not going to pretend like I've sat here and watched all their matches, but I've been on the same shows as them in the past. And I know they've both at one time or another said they'd be willing to wrestle me, which that's a big feather in my cap. But for two guys that so clearly deserve it to actually get the chance and get the call and get to go like that, as just a fan, that's cool to see. But as somebody that never got to have that match, I'm a little upset, and that's on me. Like we were just saying, I never made those calls. I never tried to get any further on my own. I was always expecting it. I know that at one point AG had run a seminar at Providence Wrestle Party, and I attended it, and he was telling somebody else who told me that he was really impressed with my work. And then at another time, I think it was an Elkmania show, he walked up to me and he said, if I'd have known you were here, I would have wrestled you. And he was already wrestling somebody else, like not to take it away from them, but
right,
you know, that's pretty big. They're both absolute class acts from every interaction I've ever had with either one of them. Never more deserving guys really to come out of this area in a long time. As far as, you know, I've seen, I don't pay attention to much. Mike Bennett would be another one that deserved it, but didn't really get the nod. Good to see him doing stuff again and really enjoying. You can see it in somebody's face and their everything when they're really into this. Like when they really, you can see when they're getting what they want out of wrestling. And I think that's a big important thing that a lot of people miss. Making it isn't just making all the money in the world and being on international pay-per-view. It's about making yourself happy and doing what you saw on TV or doing whatever made you fall in love with wrestling. Because that's, in that sense, I've already made it. Wrestling in front of the chop shop, you know, being able to not just do a comedy skit dressed as CM Punk, like actually get to go out and make my dad, my trainer, my mom, even though she was never at those shows, I mean, for good reason, but like all these different people I got to make proud. That in that essence, and I mean in that sense, I can't speak. In that sense, I made it, and I'm very proud to say that. But now the definition of making it has changed for me because, yeah, now I've done all that, and I still want more. You know, I'm not saying I want to be famous, but I definitely would love some respect on my name. And I know that doesn't come easily. I feel like I've already done the work. Like, I've been putting rings together since I was 5 years old. So for anybody to tell me that I'm a rookie is kind of, I would take that disrespectfully. And even though it might not be an insult, it may just be like, well, yeah, you're 5 years in, but you're 19 years old. You don't have life experience. You've never had interactions with, buying your own plane ticket or anything that comes with being a real big traveling wrestler. So I guess the tangent I'm going off on is it's time for me to grow up. And I think everything up until this point has been AJP the boy, but going forward, it's going to be AJP the man. Not Becky Lynch the man, but like the grown-up man, like the 18-year-old, 19-year-old, 20-year-old. Because that was what I was worried about. Once I got to turn 18, I was like, all right, well, now what's the appeal to AJP? Really, I was 16, 17 years old hanging in there with some really great local talent. That was the appeal. Now I'm an adult and there's a bunch of people my age doing the same thing, getting booked because they know somebody that I know. Or they're showing up and putting a ring together at a show where all these people are, and I'm doing it here where I've already done it. You know what I mean? I would never ever in my life say I'm ungrateful for the Chop Shop, that experience, that time period. But it's kind of obvious that it's not the same as something like Beyond Wrestling or Limitless Wrestling. It's not well known. It's local. And without it, I have no choice but to move on and move forward and do something different, or I won't get to have anything else, at least in the meantime. Like, I have the RWA banner on my wall. That's pretty much all the proof you need that it's not coming back for a while. And when it does, I'm excited for it. But of course, I feel like I would need to stop prioritizing the little stuff, and I need to start making some bigger moves. Like, I know I'm not gonna offend my dad in saying like, hey man, I could do this. I could do AEW Dark instead of RWA this month. I know there's not going to be any hard feelings, and I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. But in that situation, I would need to make the decision to do Dark and not RWA. Mm-hmm. And that's the weird thing about wrestling. Like, I always wanted to, and I still do, but I always want to stay true to the people that got me started and the people that have watched me grow. But it's hard to do that when they might not necessarily agree with how other people have gotten to that point. They may not agree with the people that are at that point. They might hate the people in charge of whatever's going on at that point. But because you're loyal to them, now you feel weird in going working for them, even though you're not doing anything wrong. You're just putting your name out there on a bigger platform. Mm-hmm. It's going to have to be less of that. And I'm not saying, thankfully, we had a pandemic because, God, this has been an absolute nightmare. But it's really given me a long, really long chance to just sit back and reflect on all of this and think about where to go or how to do it, and not have the choice of, yeah, well, you can still wrestle at the Chop Shop. Like, no, that's gone. And it might not ever happen again. Now I need to do something different. I need to do more work, and I need to build myself up. And I need to have the confidence in doing that, because I don't have any confidence.
Again, I know it's easier said than done. If you can find a way to spin that around, I know you can shine on other platforms, and the evolution. And I know we've even spoken about it last time, because I speak to every single talent about evolution of character or wrestling or both. That's what you're in the middle of right now, because you're not the only one. There's been other talent that have not gone and done some of these dates that maybe were available to them as promotions were doing some shows, but maybe now they are. They're at a point where they feel, you know what? Now it's time. I'm feeling a little more comfortable. But in the interim, they've also changed on what they were doing, either their gimmick a little bit or their gear. They've gotten some new stuff, or they've trained a little bit differently, and they've lost some pounds or what have you. So you're right in there with the mix with many, many other wrestlers, my friend. And I think, you just keep looking forward. Don't look back, and you're gonna do it. I'm telling you, you'll be fine, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
Uh, because the evolution without it, you just kind of stay like you're saying. I'm 16. I'm AJP, and I'm known for kind of what's going on my local scene. I still want to be AJP, but things are going to change. What, how, and when, and what it's going to look like, we don't know yet. But things are going to evolve, if you will, in your character. So I can't wait to see that happening, because seeing you at such a young age, and I know I haven't seen you for very long, been a good few years, all of, but seeing you grow as a wrestler and as a young man, and you're about to hit 20 years old. Holy shit! So I mean, I'm right on this ride, and I look totally forward to this. And I mean, let's just be real. Your dad has got to be ecstatic, taking the ride, going to a different promotion, seeing you work in a different environment, taking that ride back home. Your pop has got to be all about that, man.
And in that sense, absolutely, but in a different, like, wrestling's always been our thing, obviously. I mean, we bonded over watching WWE shows, watching RWA shows back. I watch him edit, or I was at the shows, filming the shows, wrestling on the shows, whatever it was. It was always how we got to spend time together. And I mean, as soon as I got my license, that immediately changed, because that meant he didn't have to drive me to shows anymore or drive me home, which means we're probably not getting dinner together. We're probably not gonna talk very much, because I'm over here worried about my match and breaking down the ring after the show. Like, it was hard, and then it got harder because the pandemic happened, and now there's no wrestling at all. So now, what do I do with my dad, who works full time? At the same time, I'm working full time, except I get up at the crack of dawn and I'm sleeping by the time he gets out of work. Like, it was, I mean, it's still, I'm in no way saying my dad doesn't want to see me, but I'm saying it's pretty hard for us to see each other. He lives in Warwick. I live in Tiverton. That's a 45-minute drive.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to make that just about ever. Like, of course it's worth it to go see him, but we both understand, like, at the end of the day, you're tired. It's not worth the gas, not worth the stress. But to make a point out of all of that, going to the Kevin Landry's show was the first time we had gotten to do that in quite some time. Before that, we had done a couple tapings out in an unnamed region in Massachusetts for an unnamed company, only because it's all still unposted and not canon yet. But we got to do a couple tapings, and he got to drive me, or I would drive him, or we would be able to do that drive together. And it was a longer drive than it normally is, because it's not just the one end of Rhode Island to the other. It's Rhode Island to, whatever's next to Massachusetts, almost, like that far into Massachusetts. Because, I can't think of geography right now. I'm thinking about wrestling. Yeah, he's excited to see me do cool things, but I think he would definitely say he's more excited to just spend that time with me and get to do what we always used to do. And I would say the same, 100%.
Absolutely, because that's most of my dad and my bond right now is the wrestling. So when we get to go, it's like, we're hitting the road, we're doing our thing, we're chit-chatting, and then we get to talk about the event on the way back. And then even, throughout the week, I'll stop over there after work and we'll chit-chat. And usually it kind of circles back to wrestling, what's going on with the talent. It kind of, it's funny because most of our conversation is all about you guys and girls. I'm telling you, it really is. It's always about the events or what's going on, or, who've you interviewed, and it's always about you guys. So I feel you there with the bond and wrestling. But that's one of those things, though. Wrestling is very universal. Goes from age, race, religion, creed. I mean, size. It doesn't matter what you do. Any walks of life, your job. A lot of different people love wrestling, so I've always enjoyed that about wrestling.
I could tell you one person that doesn't enjoy wrestling, and that is my mother. Oh boy. Yeah, my dad kind of ruined that one.
It's kind of stolen her boys from her life, I would say, huh?
Well, considering it's a big piece of why they're not together anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But the
You
funny thing about it is she still ended up with another wrestler.
know,
Well, ex-wrestler. Like they both kind of hate wrestling for the same reason.
yeah.
But nah.
But those are the sacrifices that we speak of on the show because being a wrestler, my friend, is I've always said it, I always will, and I don't know it firsthand because I'll never get in the ring. But it's one of the most hardest things to become in the entire universe. And there's so many things that are very difficult to achieve. Being a wrestler is one of them because it's not all about keeping the body fit and buying the gimmick and acting like a wrestler and getting a name and all of this shit. It's the sacrifices working your way up through your career that is probably the most uh, probably some of the most difficult times to ever surpass and keep wanting to be a wrestler. So those are that's one of those sacrifices though. And not everybody is very open when they speak. So I applaud you for at least being open about stuff like that because that's what wrestling is though. When we try to pull the curtain back a little bit, that's what it is. There's a lot of sacrifices that the fans just don't understand what you guys and girls go through.
I mean, I'm not gonna claim to have it that hard. Like both of my parents love me, and I'm very grateful to have them in my life. And I know there's so many people that can't say the same thing. But there have been times where my mom will call out wrestling as a specific reason why I'm doing something wrong, whether it was in school or at home or the way I talk to my little brother or even her or even the girls I dated. Like it all had to do with wrestling. And at the time it would be like, no, you're wrong. But I mean, in some ways she's right. I was exposed to a lot at a young age just because of being around wrestling and not be like The Rock was born into a big wrestling family. They're not born into the local wrestling scene where I'm not gonna say it's like I don't know how to put this. It's not like a more hardcore version of it, but it's technically a more hardcore version of probably what he experienced, at least on the wrestling side of things. I'm sure he had plenty of hardships, and I'm not at all calling myself The Rock, and I'm not saying I had it hard. You know what I mean? I feel the need to defend every point I make because I'm so scared of like somebody picking one thing I say apart and just be like, "You asshole, you're canceled." But no, like I was saying, like my mom will always support me with whatever I do, and especially now that I don't get to do it, she doesn't really fault me for wanting to be a wrestler. If anything, she's one of the people telling me you need to go out and do this. It's literally killing you to sit here and do nothing, and or to go to work and not go to wrestling after. And she's right. I'm not the same person without it. It's an outlet I need to let off the worst part of me, like the better and worst parts of me. Like when I'm a bad guy, of course you see this cocky, rude, entitled asshole, and in many ways that is who I am at heart. But I work very hard to keep that to myself because I have a lot of respect for myself and other people. And so I try to carry myself professionally, as you would call it, and not show that. But all the while, that's building up all this frustration with a job that isn't giving me the raise I deserve, which I know I deserve, and everybody else would say I deserve, but they wouldn't. So in their eyes, that's entitlement, and that frustration built and built and built for so long. So being able to do it at Kevin Landry's show and be the bad guy with somebody like Jay Baker, who has such an easy character to make content with, like, where was I going with this? Yeah, offloading those negative vibes. That's really what I was going for with that. Like, it's a creative outlet in the sense that like you get excited about making pictures and videos on your phone, and I would say I feel the same way. I remember I used to run shows with my friend Justin Sylvia. I don't know if you're familiar. He doesn't wrestle anymore. He hopefully will come back someday. I miss you, Coco. Hopefully he'll come back. But where was I going with that one? Oh yeah, so we used to run these shows, and he would make the pictures on his computer. But then I started making them on my phone, and I thought they were better. And now I get excited every time I get the chance to do that. I did a couple for RWA for like the baseball show we did, or the baseball field show at Mount Pleasant High School. And then I of course, you just take one look at my Instagram or my Facebook. There's tons and tons of video compilations. I get excited to make those. I do that all right on my phone, right, for my movie. I'll just piece together all these clips. I'll screen record a song off of Spotify, and boom, there it is. AJP content, magic. And I not having new matches makes it hard to go digging for stuff because I can't watch old matches. And I've heard a lot of other people say the same thing. It's just like, it's such a cringy feeling. Like you see the one little thing you got wrong that you would never get wrong today. And it's just like, ooh, you're such a bad wrestler. What are you doing? So to be able to make new ones and make new moments for people to watch and make, more content for both my fans and myself to get into, it's just a win-win situation. It's good. It's good all around. I don't think many people particularly care for those videos. It's not like I get 1,000 likes a piece on them, but if you're one of the people watching, I appreciate it. I mean, I know you've liked a couple of them every now and again.
Absolutely.
For me, it's more the process with making those, though. Like, I could care how many likes I get. I'll always sit and watch them back, and that's really how I better myself, is watching what I've done right, because I know what I did wrong as soon as I did it. So to do what I did right and get the confidence of, wow, that looked good. Like, I could give a shit if 20 people like the post. I learned something from it, and that was what was important to me. So, I'm definitely grateful for the support on it, but I don't need it.
Keeping at least some content going, for the fans. And I know, like you said, you dig making it, and you're like, man, that once it's all, your finished product, you're like, wow, that's pretty cool. I want to post that up there. That gives us at least something to be visual, though, with the media. Without it, we see absolutely nothing. At least if you give us something. And not only that for us, the fans, but it got you, assumingly, it got you a gig over at Kevin Landry's, just putting out some recent media. So, I mean, it's always worth it because you never know who's watching the content. And again, even if there is only 5 likes, 10 likes, 20 likes, or if there's only 10 views or 50 views, whatever.
There's only like 10 likes, but there's always like 400 views or 1,000 views, and then nobody liked it.
But you never know who's watching, really, though. You just never.
That's like another reason why I try to put out as many as I can. And Dick Lane's got a good thing going right now. I mean, I know he's doing it mostly with TikTok, but I've been watching how many likes and reactions he gets to post, and it's been going up. And all he's been doing is posting 1 every day, 2 every day, or whatever it is. It's just getting a little something out there. And I mean, I just assumed when I was only getting 12 likes on an Instagram post that was because I sucked. No, it's just because I'm not putting out enough of it, and the way the algorithms work with social media, you need to put out more content for people to see it. If you're only posting once in a while, it's very rare that they're going to see it or care about it when they see it. And I'm hoping to copy the formula a little bit, but not too. I like to do it differently. Like, I like to slap a song on almost every video I do, but if there's commentary on it, like the one I posted today, I'll just post the commentary, because usually it highlights the moment a little better because it's like right in the moment. It's hard to. I can't talk, man. I'm so tired.
Yeah,
it's
especially if you
it's
have.
hard to miss the energy when it's all right there. Um, but yeah, no, I really never considered the fact that I have all these people on my Facebook. I wrestled Brian Malonis. Now I have him on my Facebook, and I think too many people will just like book him on a show and then say, "Oh, Ring of Honor star," and then in smaller text, Brian Malonis. Like, no, it's completely the other way around. He's such a cool guy, and I was really honored to get to learn from somebody like him. But I have him on there, which means it's likely people he's connected to will see it. I mean, I've there's another one. Hold on, I'll think of one really good example. Strong Style Brand. They follow me on Instagram, and they have for a while. Main State Posse follows me on Twitter, and I mean, they may not interact with what I'm doing, and they may not even see it themselves. But the people there around, like, the way you already know the way the social media works,
Yeah.
it attaches itself and worms its way into as many different people that might be interested as possible. And there's a lot of wrestling fans out there, especially considering that I have like 2.6 thousand people on my Facebook that I've never met before in my life. But I guess they all like wrestling or something. So, if they see it in passing, they can tell a friend, they can tell nobody. I have a couple different promoters on there that I'm kind of upset haven't at least liked a post of mine. Just give me that false hope that maybe I'm doing something right. I'm not gonna drop names because I don't mean any disrespect by it, but hey man, help a young gun out. I'm trying here.
Now, I know you're not familiar with the talent that does uh, go that has been coming regularly at the Shut Up and Wrestles over the course of the last 6 previous to when you showed up at 7. Um, is there any talent, and it doesn't have to be specifically from the combine, but is there any maybe one or two talents that you have at the forefront of, man, I would really like to work him or her. And if Kevin Landry's combine would give you that opportunity, who would be a couple talents that you'd be really into working right now?
I said it literally last show. I said it right then and there. I said it to anybody that would hear it. I want a match with Big Juicy. I heard that reaction when she came out. I didn't see the match. I didn't see anything else. I heard the reaction. And that's all I fucking need, bro. Because in my match, you noticed I got a really strong heel reaction. So now if you want to make some money, the ideal thing to do is put a I'm not gonna say I'm the biggest heel. I just showed up, but I think I'm a decent heel. Put it with your clearly top baby face, and you're just a license to print money. It's really simple.
Okay.
So there's that one. I don't know what if or when that could ever happen,
Okay.
but I would definitely like to get some more Chop Shop people. I mean, and not necessarily more of them because I don't want it to turn into Chop Shop 2.0. I don't think anybody else wants that either. But I would love to have another classic with Dick Lane. It's been a while since I've gotten to wrestle him one-on-one, and I know. I mean, I've been wrestling him since I was 13 years old, so we have the chemistry. I mean, we get along great outside the ring too, so that always helps. I would love to wrestle Jamie Tucker. I mean, that was a match that we got robbed of before the pandemic happened. I mean, I could think of 1,000 different names of people I would want to wrestle, but for never before matches, it's hard. I mean, my girlfriend used to train to wrestle. Maybe I'll wrestle her.
Oh, wow.
No, I'm so kidding. I could never.
You'd have to.
You know what? I want to wrestle Isana. That's a match I've never gotten to have singles, and I know she'd be interested. She's told me 1,000 times, and I've told her 1,000 times, and I don't know if you were ever introduced to the alternate wrestling reality that we did. That's AWR, which is RWA backwards.
Okay.
And so Dick Lane had a multiverse thing going on. We had all these different parallel universes. Basically, Liz was my mom. I mean, Isana was my mom. Sorry. Um, shit. Yeah. No, Isana was my mom. So now it's kind of the running joke. Every time I see her, she's still my mom.
Oh wow.
She's basically my wrestling mom, but she has that RWA Hype Championship, which has gone undefended for quite some time. So maybe if we get some showcase match action going on, you know what I mean? Notorious AJP for the Hype Championship, you know, that'd be interesting. I would love to do that again, and just to have the match with her, even if I didn't win. Like I pretty much started the same time as her. Like she trained with, I believe, JT Dunn and Biff Busick, who's now Oni Lorcan. I don't know that for a fact, but I'm pretty sure she took classes from both at the Chop Shop, the first Chop Shop in Providence, and I took a couple classes as well. Then I stopped because I wasn't able to wrestle. I wasn't old enough. And then I think her debut moment in RWA was saving me from an attack from my dad, or maybe it was just like a crossfire incident. I really don't remember how it happened. I know we were involved, and I feel almost robbed that I've never gotten to wrestle her one-on-one, because we have a pretty organic story to tell, especially if I got to play the heel. I would absolutely do that all day. And there's not enough intergender wrestling anyway. And I'm not saying that to be a creep at all, because really that's just not my thing. I'm not going to get up in my spandex and get in the ring to get off. Like, that's not what I do. I do this because I'm excited to fight people and be fought and have as much fun as I can along the way. And yeah.
Man, you named some fine talent that I would absolutely love to see, because I know you do have a history with Dick Lane, and I don't know that history, but at your age and your guys' history, I think that would be a banger, if you will. I think that'd be a good one right there. You going up against Big Juicy, did not see, that was a swerve. I did not see that coming at all. Again, I think that would be a good one, because taking Big Juicy's energy and trying to stifle it in front of us, we would hate you so much for that. We would hate you so much.
Exactly. And I would be so happy because I want you to hate me. I want that negative energy, bro. Give it to me. I want you to take your bad day out on me in the least sexual way possible.
I almost want to name the episode that, but people will talk. But another,
I think you should. That'd be a great money grab.
Hey, if you're greenlighting the title, that's what I'm gonna name it.
All right.
Oh my God, people are gonna be talking. And then to go against Isana, I think that would be really fantastic, because she's got a lot to offer in ring, character wise, and everything. And I know she's been down for a while. She just put up a post. I think it was like 51 weeks. She hasn't really done anything, so she's starting to kind of trying to get back and get her oats going. And I would love to see Isana back in the ring and active. That would be amazing.
Well, I forgot that it had been that long. I don't pay attention to anything. And with Facebook, I mean, I just saw she got a booking. I think isn't she working for the Lab at an upcoming show or something like that?
Not that I know. Maybe she's getting ready for. I don't know.
Is it her? What? I swear I saw a graphic like that. I don't know. If I just spoiled something, my bad, but I don't think I did. I thought that was a thing I saw.
I'll have to go digging. Yeah. Let me go digging.
So maybe cut that out if possible.
Nope.
I didn't even think about that. Anyway, yeah, she hasn't been wrestling for a while, and if I was one of her first matches back, I think that would be even better, because I think there's a comfort level that comes with wrestling somebody you know versus somebody you don't know. Obviously, like when I wrestled Jay Baker, I mean, I'm not going to say I was sweating and nervous about wrestling him. Like, oh my God, I'm so scared. What, you know what I mean? I was more nervous of, I don't know his style. I don't know his mindset. I don't know where he's at. And I think we found somewhere in the middle, and I think it worked out. So I think it'd be the same thing with Liz. Isana.
Yeah. She is gonna give you so many suplexes for slipping that tongue there.
I really don't think it was a spoiler. Find out.
Yeah, but because you're walking into a different promotion, you've never wrestled said opponent. So yeah, it's a total different flavor, man. It's a different animal, you know.
And it's kind of reminiscent of what I used to get to do on Thursdays, and I really don't want to get into any part of that situation. But with XWA, it was always wrestling pretty much either the same exact person you've already known or and wrestled a million times elsewhere, or it was somebody you'd never met before that comes from a completely different area, completely different school. And I feel like that really brings the most out of any given person. Because, you know, it's you have to do something different. And that's what I think been the theme this whole time we've been talking. I think you have to do something different. You have to. It gets to a point where, yeah, you got this right, but if you, I mean, you see Chris Jericho, The Undertaker, all the best. They change what they're doing to improve and to show improvement. And I lost my train of thought again. We should probably wrap this up. I'm going to fall asleep.
Well, I do appreciate you taking the time because I know we all have a lot of shit going on in our lives. I mean, it's just the world is so topsy-turvy right now. So I do appreciate you taking the time. Now, where do we find AJP on the media? So maybe if we don't know, we can look you up and stuff.
I keep it real simple for you. If you search Notorious AJP on any given platform, you'll probably find it. Instagram is at notorious.ajp. Facebook is AJ Phoenix, but I'm pretty sure the nickname is the Notorious AJP. It should still link you to me one way or another, or something about me, which will then link you to me. YouTube, the Notorious AJP. Go figure. Twitter, Notorious AJP.
I knew that.
But if you want to play with me on PlayStation, it's entitled AJP.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
PlayStation.
Okay. I'm not going to give out my Snapchat because I'm sure there's plenty of people that want it, but you can't have it. Oh, no.
What a way to end. AJP, you've been an absolute blast. Very open, very candor, very informational. We had a lot of fun. And I can't thank you enough for spending the time with us, the fans.
Thank you for having me, bro. And don't forget, you're welcome. I'm the #1 young gun, the Notorious AJP. Tell them all about it. Replay the episode. Go to sleep listening to it. I'm amazing, and now you know all about it. Thank you, Don. I love you. Wow.
Getting some love from the Notorious one. And be sure, March 20th, Kevin Lange's Combine, limited seating, going against the great Nuka is one AJP. That's going to be a banger. Can't wait to check that out. And if you miss it, I'm going to be putting it on my YouTube channel. We try to get that footage out there because we want eyes to see our fine talent that we speak with. So be on the lookout for some more matches, some more promotions for one AJP as he keeps spreading his wings. Can't wait to see what the future brings, the Notorious one. This is Sir in the Pot with AJP and my very special guest, Don Kincaid. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time, sir.
You're welcome.